A good listener can be a good speaker, and a good writer can be a good reader can be a good writer. If
Yes,
we focus in these two skill, it will be too good, in my
yes,
point of view.
I agree. I think that's a very good point of view. Now,
Thank
if you wanted to make that the main point for an essay, then how would you illustrate that point? What examples can you share? You've experienced this, right?
Can you repeat it?
Yes.
Okay.
In the
So
first
tell us.
every every essay has three parts. And it's, for example, starting, the middle, and the end. The first, for example, starting the essay, you should has a starting paragraph. After that, more information about that issues. At the end, it will be finished with the uh, words or the finishing paragraph.
That's right. So I was taking that statement that you made that, um, practicing helps you to learn a language better. And I bet there is like one little example, one little story you can tell us about when you were surprised that that happened more easily than you expected, right? That would be how you would develop that sentence into an essay. And as I said, that's something that we will be working with so it becomes really easy. And it will also help you to figure out, because the questions they ask in the reading and listening parts are, okay, so how did so and so illustrate the point they made? What was the point they were making? And you have to know how to think that way and have practiced it. So this will be part of the class as well. Let me share my screen, if I may. So, can you see it?
Yes.
So this is also the homework for next week, which will be Wednesday, October 27th. Here's the list of 20 words. And, there's three of you. If you get to be study buddies, you can each take 7 of the words or 6 and work on them and then share them together. One of the things that you always want to be aware of and be skilled at in working with this test is how can you best use most efficiently the time that you have with the test, the time that you have with each other. Strategy is an important skill for taking the test. You'll have 3 hours approximately to take the test, and that's about 3/4 of an hour for each section. And when the time's gone, you're done. So it really hurts your score if you haven't looked at all of the parts and done them. So it's important to know, okay, so there's 4 different questions here. I've got 45 minutes. So I have to do each one in 10 to 12 minutes. And you have to be aware of the time and make sure that you get to the end of the question before going on. So you get to all the questions. So that's another aspect of the test taking skills that we'll practice with tests. So for next week, I want you to, this is posted on our website on Living Peace Now under the calendar for this class, for the TOEFL class. So you go to the calendar and you click on calendar and you scroll down below the announcement and the link. And there's this for this coming week. And this will change from week to week. We did the practice. We illustrated it.
Okay.
So
we'll practice on these words.
no, we didn't practice these words. We practiced last week's words, which was the first list. I'll publish it again. So these words, this is about how to practice these words. We practiced last week's, but it's the same idea.
Okay.
So now I want to find the TED Talk that's entitled Want to Truly Succeed by Amber Hikes. And we've got 2 TED Talks here. Pick one, the group of you, and look at it. They're both short, and that's why I picked them. They're 5 minutes. Sometimes TED Talks are 20 minutes, and we will get up to the big ones. But it's easier in a short essay to figure out what's the main point and what are the supporting, the illustrating points. And you want to, when you're listening to these, write down 4 sentences, main point, restate it, and then illustration 1, and state that. Illustration 2, state that. And you should end up with just 3 or 4 sentences in your notes. These are really simple talks. And, this will be the beginning of how you will work in the test with talks or with articles. Okay? So, How to Lead in a Crisis by Amy C. Edmondson. You go to TED Talks and download the app, l'appli, and go into the app and search for this TED Talk. It's one that's right on top. It's fairly new. And listen to it. And figure out what is she saying? What is the point she wants to make? One sentence. And then there will be 2 or 3 explanatory points, illustrations. She will give examples or stories or drawings to let you see, let you experience, to show you, why you should believe her. And then when you get together on WhatsApp at a different time, I think, than when you're doing the words, see if you all got the same 3 or 4 sentences. And if you didn't, figure it out together. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then the third thing that we're doing now for homework is reading. And there'll be all kinds of things to read, but a good basic newspaper is a good place to start. So if you have a favorite online publication in English, you can use that. But I recommend a British newspaper called The Guardian. You can read it for free. They don't make you subscribe, but they will request donations, which if you're able to donate, that's really good because it helps them to continue creating news articles. And if you can't, well, you can't. So pick an article and read it. And write down 5 new words used in the article that you want to master the meanings of. In other words like the ones we were discussing. And, do the search on that and do the work. So basically you'll have 25 words a week. And in a sentence, tell us what was the main thing you learned about the topic of the article. And again, in class next week, I'll ask. And I will expect that you have done 2 or 3 or 4 hours of work on your own and in your group between now and next week's class, so that you're moving ahead in your skills, because the class once a week is not enough time to gain all the skills that you want. You're going to have to work on it in between times. So these are good ways of doing that. And if we stay together in doing these things, then we can discuss, what was the right answer. Okay? So you're going to listen, you're going to read, and you're going to play with words between now and next week. And do some of it on your own. When you have a few minutes, just do it. And get together for 30, 60 minutes as a group and discuss. Okay, so I got for the how to lead in a crisis, her main point was, see if you all got the same main point. If you did, awesome. If you didn't, well, discuss it and figure it out. Okay?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm-
okay.
I'm anticipating that A, this will be fun and interesting. B, that you will become friends as you work on this together. And C, that we're all going to watch you making fast progress in your speaking, listening, writing, and reading skills. Okay?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay,
We'll
thank you.
practice on it.
okay. I will look forward to seeing all 3 of you next Wednesday at 12 New York time.
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all very much.
Okay,
Thanks,
see you.
Professor.